Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. If you guys listened to episode 84 a few weeks back, I had an amazing guest, Joy Michelle from Joy Michelle Photography, and we talked a lot about YouTube. And we definitely had some amazing business conversations, but I actually brought Joy live with me inside the Community Builder Facebook group. And this is kind of part two. If you listened to episode 84, you probably know we were like, we have got to do a part two. This was too good. But I didn't want to waste that opportunity to also get her inside the Community Builder, because this episode, this conversation is all about her online community, Photo Boss, and how she grew that community to over 10,000 members. So it was very, very appropriate and inspiring to share that inside my Facebook group, all about Facebook groups. I mean, she is miles and miles ahead of me. If you're comparing to how big the group is, how long the group has been successful. I mean, she's incredible. And I've known Joy for a while, kind of from afar. She was in my mastermind program, years ago, but I didn't really get to spend any one-on-one time with her. And I just love her more and more the more I get to know her. And we kind of laugh in our Instagram DMs, and I'm just so incredibly grateful, for her friendship, but I'm grateful for her time and energy to share with my community, and for all the hours and blood, sweat, and tears that she puts in for the photography community. I mean, the amount of free content that she pours in to the photography community is not only generous, but life-changing, world-changing. I mean, she's just an incredible human being, and I just love her even more the more I get to know her. So let's dive in. I'm going to share this behind the scenes Facebook Live with you. So forgive me if, the audio is not exactly above and beyond, but I just think repurposing content is so important. And we're going to be talking more about that very soon, actually. So just watch our little experiment unfold as we continue to put content in more than one place, because watching a Facebook Live is very different than just listening in while you're on a walk. And it's really nice for this content to be able to live on, because it's that good. And if you're a photographer, you will love, love, love Joy Michelle. Go follow her immediately. She's easy to find, Joy Michelle Photography. But let's go ahead and get started and hear all about her Photo Boss community. Oh my gosh. I'm realizing how much I like bootstrap stuff.
You're fine. I mean, it just proves though that you do not need any of this stuff. It's like nice to haves. It's not a need.
Yes, absolutely. And I recently figured out how to pull so my Facebook Lives every now and then. If they're good ones, I'll repurpose them for the podcast.
Yes.
But I was having the hardest time getting the quality to sound even half decent. And I finally figured out how to separate the audio from the video, and it's stupid easy.
Oh, well, see, I don't know how to do that.
And I'm why is this the easiest thing ever that nobody knows about? And I think I might have shared it in the group. And now that I'm saying this, I will do a Loom video for the group, because it's literally that easy. And next week or the week after, coming up soon, I'm going to be talking about repurposing. So that'll be good.
Oh, I am excited for that, because I need all the repurposing tips.
I mean, I'm literally, y'all are in it with me. So I'm figuring out as I go, but I'm I might as well share, right?
Yes. I was listening to your podcast this week on Facebook Reels, and I literally just uploaded one. I was like, yes, I need to do this. Elizabeth tells me I have to do this.
I'm so glad you listened. I hope it was helpful. I had a lot of people say they were going to go listen, and I was I tried to keep it short and just here's what I know, but there's no guarantees.
I appreciate a short podcast episode, because that's kind of all I can handle right now in my life.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to hear how yours is going. I'm let me actually introduce you and get things going. We have a couple of people tuning in, which is so exciting. Marvin, Sharon, Amanda, yay. So you guys, most of you probably already know Joy, but meet Joy. She has a community called Photo Boss. She's an amazing YouTuber. She has been on my podcast. We will link that podcast in here as well. I meant to do that ahead of time. And it wasn't that long ago. And it was such a good episode. And we were like, we need to do a part 2. So this is kind of part 2. In the first podcast episode, we talked a lot about YouTube, but today we're going to be very specifically talking about her Facebook community, Photo Boss, which has been trademarked. You guys know I'm like such a huge advocate for trademarking. So Joy, I know we're going to take like tons of like rabbit holes and veer off topic, but the most important thing that I'm excited to hear about is just the journey of Photo Boss. So start wherever you want. Tell us whatever you want.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. So Photo Boss is my Facebook community. Photo Boss, the idea for Photo Boss actually started when I was on the treadmill at Gold's Gym. And I'm just sitting there being like, all right, so I'm going to start a Facebook group. What do I call it? Not sure where the name came from, but it came to me. And as all the good ideas do, it's kind of like while you're doing something else. And so I just decided to start this shortly after I had started the YouTube channel. And so I figured it would be a way to go a little bit deeper with my audience in a way that you kind of can't in the YouTube comments. And it really took off. Like I didn't have the hope or the vision for what it is today, which is over 10,000 members, and which is just wild to me. And it's so much bigger than me, which is the best. You know, when you build something that just goes way beyond you, you actually realize like that to me now is like true success. And so I did start the group, I want to say like 2018, 2017, kind of around there, around when I was getting serious on YouTube, and have just continued to grow it and grow it and grow it. But it wasn't like an overnight success by any means. I think I was just excited to get it to like maybe 100 members in like the first couple of months. But eventually I started kind of hacking into a little bit of like what Facebook wanted me to do with my group. And then I think it started being shown in like sidebars or like suggested groups. And I think that really, really helped. So yeah, I mean, what would be most helpful to hear in terms of like the journey? Because I can definitely go in depth.
Oh my God. So many golden nuggets there already. Like, first of all, like it didn't happen fast. Like you have this awesome group of 10,000 people, but like you said, you started it in 2017 or 18. Yeah. But like, holy cow, like to be able to have that now, and like you said, have it beyond you is incredible. Do you have any idea? Because I've had clients where this has happened too, and I don't know, but like, do you have any guesses or any ideas as to what Facebook likes that helped you get put in the sidebar, or that helped some of that organic traffic happen?
I have a few theories. I think that and it works this way on a lot of platforms. So if you can pick this up, it's helpful as a business owner in general. But when I started trying to use the Facebook group as like, this is where I want them to be, instead of I want them to leave, they really like that. So I stopped linking outside of the group frequently. I didn't use it to link to my YouTube videos as frequently. So I'll occasionally talk about, hey, I have a new video, but more so I would like put a graphic of something and start a conversation based on that video, instead of sharing and trying to get them to go to the blog or trying to get them to buy something. I think they have AI that really just combs everything that you do, and they can tell whether or not it's a sales page or a true community. And so I made it more of a destination in that I had to give people not only a reason to join the group, but a reason to stay in the group. So I was creating content inside of the Facebook group that didn't exist anywhere else. And that to me was like the only way I could think to have someone join a Facebook group. I'm not cool enough that like someone would just come and like want to hang out with me, like just for fun. So I would create, even just like a once a month, like Q&A or go live, or do like a teaching on something, so that I could say, hey, this month in Photo Boss, we're talking about this. And I think that caused some user behavior that Facebook really liked. So I would say using the features that Facebook gave me, but also making sure that I wasn't encouraging people to leave too often. And I think it was like an accidental success really, because I was doing that knowing that YouTube was the same way, and that YouTube and Facebook are not friends. And when you link to a YouTube
yeah.
video, it tanks. And then the same thing happens on YouTube. Like if you're trying to get them to leave every time you make a video, you're not going to get suggested. You might get discovered in search, but you will not be in the suggested. And so there's just like whole worlds to this, but I think those are just a couple of things that I did that definitely helped. And the one way that I knew that this was happening too was that I was asking members when they were coming in how they found me. And I saw it going from YouTube to like a little bit of Instagram and then Facebook. They were like, oh, I was in another group. And I was like, are people talking about it in another group or was it in the sidebar? So I was being like nosy Nelly and like asking. And so I figured out it was getting suggested.
Yes.
But you have to ask, otherwise you don't know.
Yeah, that's such important feedback. And I love that theory of not linking outside, because I was onto that, but I hadn't like made it that clear. Right.
Yeah.
And I just talked with a client yesterday and she does a lot of like podcast promoting. And I was just looking at it as like branded content. Like you don't need to do so much branded content, but it wasn't just that.
Yeah.
She's linking the podcast. So that totally makes sense. That's such a good thing because, you know, like I said, I've had a couple groups that have gotten it right. And I'm like, what did we do right?
Yes. And now, so I started a new community for my podcast. And so I'm starting down, like, I have like 30 members of like, I would say zero. Yeah. Back to zero. And I'm like, okay, now instinctively, instead of just posting like, hey, we have a new podcast episode, what I will do is kind of add maybe like a graphic that's like an animated graphic that has captions, it has a waveform, it's interesting, but it's for Facebook, like it's sized for Facebook, so that I'm not just sending them away and I don't link to it. They already know about the podcast. Like if they're in the group, they know about the podcast. So really, I'm just trying to go a little bit deeper. And so, you have to keep reminding yourself because it can be so easy to just like slap a link and be like, yep, I did my post. And then you wonder why it gets nothing. And it's because like Facebook, that's not what they want. They want high quality, high engagement groups. Oh, your dog.
I know. And she's always in the back. I forget to even introduce her at this point because I'm like, she's just like my permanent backdrop.
I love her. So
and
sweet.
it wasn't even intentional. Like, I mean, I have only had her since December and I never knew that would be where she wanted to be, but that's her spot.
It's her spot. That's perfect.
That's so good too, though. And another tactic that I've seen that works, that is probably because of this theory, is when people say like, hey, like if with my job posting, instead of posting the link, if I had just posted like you said, like a graphic made for Facebook and said, hey, we have this job opening, message or raise your hand if you want the link. And then I DM them the link, that keeps that conversation thread really clean as far as no links.
It really works for engagement too. I've done this for a freebie. We started doing this because of the problem of links just not working.
Yeah.
Like you can post almost anything else and it will get better reach and engagement. And so instead, I won't even post a graphic sometimes. I'll just say like, here's the problem, lead with the problem. Say like photographers have a hard time, you know, when it comes to acquiring clients, getting consistent inquiries, and then confidently booking. If you've ever thought about this and want to go dive deeper into this, I have a complete guide. Just comment guide and I will DM it to you. We've had hundreds of comments on that feed, and that it was like just a fun experiment. But then I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it's just, you're just pulling them in with like some plain text. And then if that's their problem, they'll say, okay, guide. And then we just DM it to them. And so that was a really good like email generator for us. Like, and I think we just did that like a couple months ago. So this was working recently.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the tactics that one of my clients uses. And it's like, it works so well.
It does.
And it's so good to know too, from like a consumer level of like a lot of these groups that say like no links, no links, no links. Like it's not just to like prevent spam or like keep you from self-promoting, but it keeps that like activity level and integrity of the group like high and keeps Facebook happy.
Yeah. That's a good point. I also think that when I kind of shifted the focus to the group members as being like letting it be their pedestal instead of my pedestal, I think that really helped. Because so many other platforms, it's like, it really is just you. Like you don't on your Facebook page, post pictures of your clients all that often. It's really you and what you can do for them and how you can help them. And so that was a mental shift, but giving opportunities for the members to share what they've been working on, or like even just doing follow trains like that, but letting it be like on a dedicated post when it was the right time, I think was like such a nice shift. Instead of it being like the Joy Show, it was Photo Boss, like we are Photo Boss, like everyone is Photo Boss. And that really upped engagement, which I think then kind of was like a snowball effect for the group growing overall.
Yeah. And I know when you say like the group is bigger than you, because I like just peeked in your group right before this, I know exactly what you mean. It's because like, I was like, man, these are all photographers talking. Like, this isn't even like Joy talking. Like, this is everyone asking questions, helping each other. And like, that's what it's all about. And I think a lot of these groups that really take off, it's because they have that. And a lot of my clients, like, that's what they want. And I find that to be the hardest thing to create out of thin air. Like, how do you get people comfortable enough, you know, to just jump in and engage? And it's exactly what you're saying of like, this is a bigger space than just Joy.
You know, and I have a question for you about that, because I think there's people who think that's not the way to do it. And I've actually had someone come in that was auditing the group. And this was like maybe a year and a half ago. And they said, well, it's mostly other people talking and engaging and helping each other. And it needs to be more of you. And I would love to hear your feedback to that idea of like, it should be more Joy.
Yeah. And I don't know how, like, is there a measuring stick here, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would have to kind of see the group before and be like, okay, I see what she means. Like, I'm not seeing you at all. But I think if you're participating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your brand is there, but not taking over, like, to me, that's enough. And I know of all my clients that I've had, that's what they all want. They're like, I'm tired of it just being me. I'm tired of it just being me. Like, nobody else is posting. Nobody else is asking questions. And they're all using these other groups. I want to be like this group. And it's the groups where people are talking, right? Without them holding their hand. And I do think that you need both. Like, you need to absolutely be kind of like the leader, the authority, the community builder. But to me, that's the number one sign of a successful group, is when people feel comfortable enough to just dive in and participate.
Yeah, I always thought that it was really cool that sometimes if I wasn't able to go into the group that day and later that afternoon, I'm like peeking in, and it's sort of like when your kid knows how to do something without you and they're helping each other. Like, they were connecting the dots for each other. They were being resources and giving each other feedback on their portfolio and saying, hey, I love this blog post, but I noticed this about your website. And I'm like, that's what this is. Like, I cannot be spoon feeding you forever. Like, I love that you're growing up. And to an extent, it's like, it still needs to be Photo Boss with Joy Michelle. And they need to know, like, well, who started this and how else can I work with you? And do you have more courses and programs and coaching? And yes, I do. But I also love that, like, the community isn't just that. Yeah. It's also like quick help. And sometimes people are like, okay, I know I'm missing something. I'm getting this error code. And someone comes in, they're like, oh yeah, this happened to me. And they're actually getting solutions quickly in Lightroom or wherever they're working. And I think that's so cool. And I can't do that. I can't be in the group all the time.
No. And that was one of the things I noticed, is like, they're helping each other. And one of the, I listened to a really good podcast with like a membership expert a while ago. And he said that we condition our group, right? If we condition them that we're the only person that can answer their questions, like, that's why people burn out. That's why, like, you know, groups don't grow in this organic way, because you're the only one in the group that people are relying on to answer questions. And if we answer the question first, every single time, we're conditioning the other people in the group not to answer. So when we step away, like you said, and the group still lives without us, that is a really, really great sign of a healthy community. Like, now, like, selling and all of this and all of that, like, that's another piece. But as far as like just a healthy community, like, that is gold star, like what you want is them answering each others.
And I know someone's going to say, okay, but if someone asks a question and no one's answering it, I need to dive in. And I think that there is a way to answer while also making it not the definitive answer, to answer and then say, but I would love to hear what other photo bosses have to say about this. Or like, does anybody else have thoughts, or has anyone else experienced this problem? And like, not letting it be like a full stop. Joy answered it. We're done here. Like everyone could go home. Like, no, like I want other people to jump in. And so I think answering, making sure that you don't just like leave people dangling, but also leaving it open, that's where you're training them.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even if you do know the answer, but you're like, hey, I love this question and I want to open the floor to some of our other people because I know there's going to be great feedback. That is 100% like leadership at its best.
Yeah.
Right. Because so many people are just like that scarcity mindset of like, oh, I have to help. I have to help. I have to help. They have to see me as the expert, and I was in a group this morning right before yours. It was the opposite. Where like, this person's exhausting themselves because they're answering every single question. They're in there, like answering their DMs right away. And I'm like, there is 1,000 other people in this group that could be helping you with these answers.
Yes. And I think it's hard to turn that off. It's hard when you get the notification, or especially if they tag you.
Yeah.
And you have this like impulse to answer. And, sometimes of course you do answer, but I think reminding myself, like, that's not the whole point of this group. It's not a customer service forum. Yeah. So that helps me to like hang back a little bit. But also like when you do have like a standout member or two, like encouraging their participation can help tell them that like they're not being annoying. Cause like sometimes I will be like, oh my gosh, I love your participation. Like these are such good questions. Like I've been seeing that you're so engaged, and they're like, okay, I didn't know if I was being annoying. I'm just so obsessed with the group. I'm like, no, be annoying. I love this. Like, so you kind of sometimes like have to foster the ones that are engaging. Mm-hmm. So when you do get the one good question, I think encouraging them, be like, thank you so much, like for participating. Like, I really appreciate that thoughtful question. It kind of encourages them to be like, okay, this is a safe place to ask questions when I have a question for you. And so I think that's where there is a definite like bootstrapping it, and you have to get a little scrappy, but it's relationship building at the end of the day. And so really thinking like, okay, no one's asking any questions. It must not seem interesting or safe, or like, going through like, what are the reasons? And then trying to make sure that like, when it does happen for you, you're encouraging it.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. It's all such good stuff. And we can kind of navigate the conversation a little bit more to like selling and converting, because they are kind of two different things. It's like, you want this really nice, healthy community that doesn't feel salesy, that doesn't feel like people are, only coming there to buy and you're only coming there to sell. It's that beautiful like balance. And on all your platforms, you do such a good job of like being open and authentic and vulnerable, but not like, I'm going to hold your hand for everything, right? It's like, I'm here to help you and I'm accessible, but you probably don't struggle with a ton of people crossing boundaries, because I feel like you naturally kind of set that boundary.
I mean, I will for sure say that I get a lot of DMs of like, here, what camera body should I buy? And like this versus this. And I think that's normal. Like when you put yourself out on the internet as an educator and an expert in something, there will always be people that are going to ask like the most basic of questions, to which I generally just direct them back to my resources, or say like, hey, I might answer this in a live. I've really tried to like scale the responses, because it's hard, and it's like, I can't be in the DMs all day long. And the Facebook group is like one of like a lot of things that I'm trying to grow. And so I wish I could just like sit there and like voice message everyone. But yeah, I think you're right. I think I've like really tried not to be the educator that makes someone believe that like they need me the whole time, or that like I'm the magic. Like I want people to know that it's possible because they're incredible, and they're the photo boss. Like I want you to step into the role of photo boss in your business, and I'm just going to like point you in some directions, or like help piece it together, like be the objective like outsider. Like it's like, hey, you might need to be thinking a lot more about this instead of this. Like a lot of emphasis on gear here, guys, but like, what about the business? And at the end of the day, it's like, I want them to grow up. Like, I don't want them to need me. And so it's the same with coaching. It's, making sure that you're asking the questions instead of just like giving all the advice. It's a skill set. It's hard to like hold back.
Advice is so sticky because if we give someone advice and it works for us, it may not work for them. But if we ask them really great coaching questions that help them discover like the answer that's best for them, like then they're going to be like, oh my God, like Liz helped me get where I needed to go versus like, oh, I just got this quick answer. Right. So you're so right about all of that. And we can do that in Facebook groups. We can coach in Facebook groups. We can guide in Facebook groups. We don't have to like give all the answers. And when people are in your DMs, like, what camera should I get? Like, what a great opportunity to point them back to a YouTube video, right?
Yes. Or a freebie, like get them on the email list, funnel them. That goes, it's like, it's a great chance. I think really trying to spin like even somebody asking a lot into like, oh, well, I have these resources, or have you checked out my blog? Can be like a constructive answer.
Totally. And I think you can even respond with a voice message and just be like, hey, like I'm outside with my kid right now, but here's where you can find this on YouTube so that you can get like the wholehearted answer and not my quick baby on my hip answer,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. So tell us, like, as far as selling and converting, like, what are some of the things that have worked or haven't worked in your group?
So I do a lot of like video streaming when I'm launching. So I do a lot of video teaching just in general. It's kind of my go-to. And the same with the Facebook group. I just did this whole series on Honeybook. And so next week I will be launching Hobby to Pro Toolkit. And so I like was literally just here at my desk thinking, okay, well, these days I'll probably go in and, talk about like answering really difficult client questions. Like, what do you say when they ask for the raw files? Or what do you say when they want to break up your coverage, 4 hours here and then take a break, then 4 hours here, and just give value that relates to the launch. And so I really just default back to value. So jab, 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 right hooks. I'm going to give, ask. So I'll probably be doing some pretty direct call to action videos that all have to do with Hobby to Pro Toolkit. But I kind of know that like I've done the back work of getting their email address when they came into the group. And so that's how I'll do a lot of the selling. So it won't feel like it's a big launch week in the Facebook group. I don't think. There's still going to be a good mixture of like whatever free piece of content is happening that week, whatever freebie we're promoting. So if you're coming into my business, you're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, like what's with this? Like there's a lot going on here. Because I think the most of the selling is going to be happening to my email list. So that's really like how I do it, is like a lot of like teaching and video, as well as like getting their email address so that I can actually strategically launch to them with the email side of it. Cause I think that's just more lasting anyway. Cause like, who knows if they'll be on Facebook that week.
Yeah, no, I love that. So when you're launching something like the Hobby to Pro Toolkit, is that entire launch going through your whole email list, or do you have it segmented based on who went in through that opt-in? There's no right or wrong. I'm just so curious.
So personally for this offer, it is going to go to the whole email list, because it'll go to the whole email list minus out like a tiny segment of people, because in general, it is a very like a Photo Boss offer, and my entire list, besides just a handful of people, are photographers. So that will go to the whole list pretty much.
Yeah. I kind of nerd out over that stuff. I'm not like on a technical level, I'm not the greatest like email marketer, but I just love like thinking about our communities and like, how can we speak to them and like meet them where they are? Right. Like
I love that.
Talking to my community builder members is way different than talking to like the photographers that have been with me for 10 years. Right. Like, like it's meeting them where they are. And I'm always trying to figure out different ways to like split the group or segment the group, or who do I want to talk to or sell this to? And like sometimes it's a fear, right? A fear of like, oh, these people don't want to hear from me about this thing. But
Yes. And you have two very specific audiences in your email list. So I think that's a really good point, like to be thinking about for sure. And I am now only very newly segmenting out, because Photo Boss has been like my main email marketing list. I didn't email market too much in the like service-based photography side of my business, but if I did, that would be pulled out of this campaign for sure.
Yeah, I did that really late in the game, and I only did it to promote like my mini sessions with my regulars. So again, rabbit hole here, but like I pulled all my client email addresses from my CRM and put them in their own private segment. And just like twice a year, I do minis, and that's the only way I promote it is in my email list. But yeah, so but I separate them from everything else because I'm like, they don't need to hear about the podcast. They don't need to hear about everything else, but that's it. They get those 2 emails a year, but it's like such a good, easy way to like get those minis booked without even having to post on social.
That's what I have heard. And I definitely like, that's one thing I would change if I could go back to like 2013 and like, oh, an email list for photography clients, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's a little clunky, but like, I don't need much. Like, I don't do like the 10 minis in a day. I'm like, I need like 3 or 4 and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That sounds very tiring to do 10.
Oh my God. I know. I don't know how people do it, to tell you the truth. I'm like, 4 is like my max. Oh my gosh.
But that's what some portrait photographers say about people like us that did weddings. So
yeah. So is there anything in the group that like, if you could go back and do differently, or like major like learning moments, or, you know, any pivotal moments that you remember, like, oh my gosh, I learned this and it was a game changer, or anything like that?
I think that I wish now, it's like hindsight's, you know, it's easy to like look now and say like all the things I would do differently. I think I wish I would have cast the vision a little stronger, and shared like what I had in mind, because I really think people get excited when you share what your vision is for something, and they can add and share about it, make it better. So it gives them a little bit more of like a message to talk to their friend about when they talk about the group. So I do wish that I would have shared that a little more clearly. And then just the group rules, like figuring out like what rules, what we were going to allow, what we weren't, was tricky, you know? And I think like when you're by yourself trying to manage something like this, it's hard. So I think that was like hard to navigate. And then I didn't really have a strategic way of gathering email addresses, or like, yeah, getting people on my email list. I don't think I was thinking about for like at least the first year. I asked them like where they came from and what they wanted to learn. So I was trying to figure out what digital product I was going to make. So I had like some thought, but I didn't think like, hey, you need this freebie and I'm going to get you on my list and then I'm going to funnel, because I didn't have anything to sell them when I created the group to begin with. So it was definitely like just making it up as I went along.
I know, but sometimes that's what works in our favor, is like these people that have a really long runway, or like really long nurture sequence. Like, so you started educating photographers way before you were even selling anything.
Yeah.
But that like builds such awesome trust compared to someone that's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to like sell a photography course, but they've never taught anybody. And then they're like, why didn't this sell?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think like on the side of like, okay, do I, you know, have more in visibility or more in sales? I'm like all about the nurture visibility, like build the platform, build the community, build the email list. And then I'm like thinking about all the rest of it later. Whereas other people are like, okay, so you should be doing like these 4 offers. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm just thinking like, how can I do another live stream? Like, that's definitely where my head is at. So yeah, strategically monetizing my group sooner is something I would change, but at the same time, it's just kind of who I am. And it's probably what contributed to some of the success of the group. Like you said, when you don't know what you're getting into, it can be part of this like accidental magic of what you're creating, because you're genuinely there to like connect people, and people know that, I think.
Oh, 100%. They totally know that for sure. And your group has such a like heartbeat of its own, and that's so good. And it is such a numbers game, you know? I mean, if I could go back, I would have really not focused so much on like one-to-many offers when I didn't have like the audience numbers, right? Where now I'm so clear on like my numbers and conversion rates. I know how to price things in an offer so that like it's profitable. Where like in the beginning, I was like, I'll sell a $25 product to like 4,000 people. And it like made no sense, right? Like the numbers side of things I was really slow to catch on to all that. I would just get like creative, shiny object, like I want to create this and sell it to this many people, like with the numbers just not making sense. And none of my mentors like really put me in check with that, because they're all great coaches and we always want to paint possibility. But I'm like, God, like someone had told me back then, like just sell one thing that's $3,000. Like it's so much easier because the conversion rate is what it is. Like whether
How
it's a
funny is
$7
that?
product or a $7,000 product, you need the same amount of people to see it. So like, why was I trying to make pennies?
Yes. And, the greater the clients, the greater the customer service need. And so there is something to be said for not having like 500 clients buy something small, because there's going to be questions, there's going to be refunds, and it's like it comes with its own headache. So that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah. So if anybody's listening and you're like suffering with the small audience, mentality, it's like just sell one thing, like that's a higher ticket thing, and then go back to the one to many, right? Like I just feel like I was always kind of struggling with that. And that would, if I could change anything, it would be that. I mean, and it's all a journey. We never really truly want to change anything, but that's definitely been my biggest like.
And now you have so much experience though, having gone down like these different journeys that you just ended up being like, we're going to shelf that. Like that wasn't where I want to go, but now you can speak to it. So it is not wasted.
Yeah. And I feel like now I'm in a place where like, I don't work very hard. Like, before it was like, I'm spinning my wheels with no results. And now I feel like I'm truly like, I just don't really work that hard. And, we make it work.
Sometimes your reels go viral and you're like, I don't really work that hard.
I did it. Oh my God. Like Sharon did the one reel that did go viral, 100% Sharon that did it. And even then it was like one on Canva. It was just a quote. Like there was no singing, There was no dancing. It's like, this is crazy.
Good though. It was a good reel. Like I'm now like trying to reverse engineer it and be like, all right, what can I do? But I love that. I think that's so cool that was just in Canva.
Yeah. Well, and I also think it was like you said, an accidental magic, because the timing, like it was just a leadership quote, but it was in the height of the Ukraine stuff. And I just think it was a weird, like everything worked out because I think people were sharing it because of what was going on in the news, even though, my intention was of course more like business related, but I think for whatever reason that just helped too.
It's always so interesting because there's influence of like whatever's happening in, on the internet and in the media and with your content. So that's so interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of reels, you're in the Instagram bonus program.
I just got invited and I literally didn't even know that this was a thing until a couple months ago when you shared about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you were like, I think I got the invitation and ignored it.
Yes. And I had so many people reach out and say, I didn't know what this was. And I ignored it. And I was like, I did the same thing. It'll come back. And I just kept posting reels and I kind of had just written it off, honestly. And I had told my sister the night before, people get paid for Instagram reels. I don't know how they get into that. We were FaceTiming. And then the next morning I was like, listen to me. It knows.
Oh my God. That's so awesome. That's so great. And have you started doing them on Facebook yet or no?
Yes. So I have started posting them into my Facebook group, but I don't have them on my page. I went and checked. I was like poking around to see what I could do after I listened to your podcast. And I don't think I have them on my business page. And I have to check my personal page. I didn't see anything, but I can post them into my Facebook group.
So cool.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. One of my clients this morning posted a reel in his group and I was so proud of him, first of all, but second of all, like I was like, I've seen that feature and I haven't actually done that. So maybe I'll play around with that in the community builder. But, so the Instagram, bonus program, that's so freaking awesome that you're finally in too. Cause I'm like, man, there's like so many, like Sharon, who does my reels, her reels are freaking incredible. And she hasn't gotten the invitation yet. And I know that they truly are saying it's random. But the podcast mentions kind of like how you can set your ducks up in a row to at least like be eligible. And just before I forget, if you guys go to the podcast show notes, there's a form you can fill out that essentially tells Facebook that you're interested in being part of the bonus program.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it. Yeah.
Before I was invited on Instagram, I had posted reels 3 or 4 days in a row. And I hadn't done that in a long time. And so I wondered if I kind of like triggered it in some way, because I just recently got a lot more active on my Instagram and then it came back. And so I really think there is something to it. Like the more active you are, the more you're using the different features, just like you were saying for Facebook. I think it's true across, I mean, and Meta owns like both. So I think that they are very similar in the algorithm.
Yeah. And just like playing their game a little bit, like rather than just repurposing Instagram over to Facebook, like creating reels that are unique to Facebook, use the same video footage, absolutely, but just uploading it separately, doing the captions separately, like all that stuff.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
Yeah. And from what I know, just while we're nerding out over this topic, they pay you differently. So I think Instagram is like based on, is it like each individual reel and how it does, or is it a total views?
I want to say it's total views. Well, it was a little vague because it said that you have like a 30-day span to qualify. All the reels you make in that 30-day span are a part of it. However, your early views on a reel count more towards your bonus. So, I only have like 7,000 views, but it said I made $89 or something. But the total bonus for like 12 million views would be $1,200. So it's not directly proportionate, and I couldn't get any more information beyond that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like perfect, but I think like Facebook is total views, so even if an old reel gets views, that's still getting counted. Whereas Instagram, I think it's like once, I don't know if it's once you hit 1,000 total or once each reel hits 1,000, but anyways, I've made enough for a cup of coffee. But like you said yesterday, like a tank of gas, like I will take it.
Yeah, I was excited. I was like, yeah, $89. Like, yes, I will take that. Like, this is exciting. And it's like you say, it's like, I'm already making the content. I'm already going to do this because it's not for this. It's sort of like how I view YouTube. I'm not on YouTube to make all my money through YouTube being a YouTuber. I'm on YouTube to bring visibility to my offers, my products, my services as a business. And so I'm like, hey, I'm already going to be making these reels. And like, most of them were just funny, like stuff with my son. And like, he turned 1 and I just did a couple of like funny reels about him growing up and they got all these views. And now I can like gas up my car. So I was like, okay, cool. Like,
oh my gosh, I know. It's like you said, we're doing it anyway. So it's just, it's such an added bonus. So I just hope that everyone will at least try, like, because you don't have to have a huge audience. It's just one of those things that it's random. So, do the best you can to make yourself eligible and then just cross your fingers. But it does, I mean, they're still rolling it out each week. So crazy.
Yeah. And I heard someone on another podcast talking about how like, if they're rolling out new budgets for creators for Instagram, that like this is a feature, whether you get monetized or not, it should be a feature that you're focusing on because they're obviously expanding it. And I was like, wait, that makes so much sense. Like I should be doing this like either way because it's obviously where Instagram wants to go.
Yeah. And just to jump back to YouTube for a second, like I love that you said it's not for YouTube, it's for search engine. And we're really, in the next couple of months, we're going to finally be putting some of my content on YouTube because I was like, this doesn't mean I'm trying to be a YouTuber. This doesn't mean I have to do it once a week. But like, if one of those videos like does well as far as search engine optimization, like it can be huge. Like Angie doesn't do YouTube frequently, but she gets newsletter signups every single week from like 3 videos.
It's so powerful. And it's exactly like you're saying. It's not like you're trying to be a YouTuber. Yeah. You're just leveraging this free thing that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And taking what you're already doing and just like repurposing a little bit in a really smart way. And imagine like, if you're getting a handful of subscribers every week, it's like those are strong, warm leads. And that's business money, like right there.
Yes, exactly. And like so many people that get to join your community and people you get to help. I mean, it's just, like you said, free tools just sitting there. And I used to have this mentality of like, I need to be all in or it's not worth my time. But it's like, no, just like whatever content I'm already doing, how can I put it on all the different platforms? And just to circle back to the beginning, like I'm going to be sharing that journey in real time. I don't have all the answers, but we will work together as a group to talk about leveraging content and how we can, ideally create one really good piece of content each week and try to hit all the places.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching and seeing what you do because it gives me ideas and it gives me like a kick in the pants to be like, okay, let me get on Facebook Reels. Let me do all these things because it's like you said, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And try to like stay away from like, I got to do this today. I got to do this today. It's like, we all tend to do that. Right. And I'll be like, I haven't posted this. I haven't done that. And it's like, just everything that we get done is moving the needle. Like whether it's 5 minutes a day or 5 hours a day, like just anything is still progress. So like, I can get in paralysis of analysis really easy if I allow myself to.
Yeah. I like that. And that's such a nice, that's a mentality that's just going to help you to see the possibilities instead of all the shoulds.
Yes. Yeah. And our body, there's some really cool studies about the way our bodies react when we say things like, I should, I need, I must. Like our physical response is like more stress related than like, I get to, or I can, or maybe I will, it's really, really interesting how the brain works with all that stuff.
That is fascinating. But it makes sense.
It's true. Yeah. And you can really, experiment with like sitting really still and like saying like, I should do this later, and like how it physically feels versus like, okay, at 4:00, like I will take a walk or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Like one of them feels a lot heavier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that like intensity, right?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Well, thank you so much. We'll end at the top of the hour here. I have a call at 11. Any other takeaways, anything else you want to share about PhotoBoss? I mean, obviously how people can find you, how people can connect with you. But any other like golden nuggets for us?
Oof. I mean, I think like the biggest one is that Facebook groups are not dead, and that there's so much growth that you can make with your audience in a Facebook group. And so I think that continuing on, even when it's hard, it takes time and it might not be where you want it to be, but also seeing how far you've come is really important. I know I'm an Enneagram 3. And so I'm always like, on to the next thing. Where's the next, achievement? And so to take a second and really look, it's like, okay, but you have a Facebook group, you started one, and you're building this audience, and like, that's incredible. To just sit with that, just like you get to go on a walk, you don't have to. It's like, it's kind of a nice, it's a mental shift that's really important that I think is worth stating. But yeah, I have a Facebook group. It's PhotoBoss with Joy Michelle. It is photographers from all around the world that believe in sharing their knowledge about photography and photography business and what has helped them combine their passion and their profit. So if you're a photographer, we would love to have you.
And the podcast, I meant to touch base on the podcast too, because when you were on my podcast, I think you were just about to launch it, and now it's out there. And how is it going? Tell me your takeaways on that.
It's great. It's very new. We are about 12 episodes in. It is named the Called to Both podcast. So for ambitious women that are raising children and growing a business at the same time. And it's just a passion project of mine to really bring on ambitious women that are doing an incredible job of being intentional moms, but also killing it in business and just completely debunking the myth that you have to choose. And so it's been really cool. It's been fun. And I don't know, like I have nothing to measure it with really. We're just going on with it. And I'm starting to bring on guests this month, which is really exciting. It's been solo episodes up until now. And yeah, so I'm just playing with it and kind of, I feel like this is like the first platform that I'm truly showing up on. I'm just kind of holding it with like open hands. Like I have really big dreams for it, but I'm not like white knuckling it like I have in business, on so many other platforms and with other businesses that I've had. I'm just like, I just want to have this message go out. And I think it's resonating. We have like 50 reviews already, and it's just been wild to watch. So been really good, and definitely not something I do alone. I have a editor and somebody that helps me do all of this, because I am not going to pretend to be a one-woman show while working 20 hours a week with 2 babies. I have a lot of help, but it's been really fun. And I love that you can just like show up with no makeup and just be like a mess, but like I can like close my eyes and talk and like share what I want to say and not have to set up lights and my camera and my microphone. And it's like, it's totally different than showing up for video. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome though. And that's such an important topic. And I got goosebumps when you're just like talking about the mission behind it, because, I have so many students that at some point are like, my kids come first. Like they just feel the need that they have to say out loud that my kids come first, my kids come first. And it's like, just because I'm like a badass business owner doesn't mean that one comes before the other. Right. It's like, we just have to really then that's what society does to us. Like society teaches us that like, you can't do both. And
you have to choose.
Yeah. Or
like,
that someone's making an assumption that you're a lesser mom, right? Like,
yeah.
And we just have to get away from the need to even put out that disclaimer, right?
I know. And we're so much more. I think it's such a reduction to women to say like, you're just a business owner or just a mom. It's like, I mean, we're so much, like you can be simultaneously all of these things. And I think that we're creative and we're all of these things. And to also have dreams in your heart does not reduce anything that you're doing at home or with your children, and vice versa. Like you can hold all of that together. And I think just making it like really tangible and like talking about my week and the tools and just little hacks and encouragements, I think is just, it's been helpful, I think, for people to be like, okay, I'm not alone, because I've been thinking this for a long time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, me too, which is why I started it.
Yeah, no, it's such a good point. And it's just, I just want the whole world to know, like, you can do both. Like, and what a good name. I hope you're trademarking.
Thank you.
It's such a good
I am.
Yeah, good. It's such a good name. And you'll be able to like carry that across all the different like things and ways that this grows. But, you know, I'm just always like, I get to show my kids. Like every mom tells their kid that you get to do whatever you want, but like we get to show them, you know, and that's powerful.
Oh my gosh. Now you're giving me goosebumps. I'm like, yes! Like it's so true. It's so true. I love that. And yeah, I'm in the process right now of like trying to get my ducks in a row. And it takes so long to do these trademarks. And I've only ever gone through this once. And it took a long time because it was like during the pandemic. And I was joking with a friend that I made an entire baby in the time that the US government got their act together to give me my trademark. And so I was like, skills unequal. But yeah, it's good. And I feel like there's just so many directions it can go, which is so fun. You know, having been in business for a while, and I know you feel the same, it's like, it's just fun to like have new possibilities.
Yeah. Do you know your human design? Are you a manifesting generator or a generator? Do you know?
I don't know. Okay. How do I find out?
You can Google like human design. It's based on your birthday and the time you were born, but I would put money on it that you're a manifesting generator or a generator.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And I'm not huge into the personality test, but there's something about us manifesting generators that is a common theme. So like any entrepreneur you see that like, I don't want to say like bounces around, but like has many pillars. It's because, you know, we kind of get activated by like something new ideas, the next thing. And it's like my greatest gift. But sometimes it's also like, if I would have just stuck to that one offer I did 7 years ago.
I know. It's so hard. It's like we get tired of our own stuff.
Yes, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. But I'm trying to get out of that hamster wheel and like get into the mindset of like, I want to build a business that's worth something. Like, and you know, yes, I want it to be fun, but like, I want to be able to sell it or pass it to my kids. So I got to stick to something.
Yeah. And I mean, even that is a vision of like having a legacy. And so you're connecting it with heart.
Yeah.
But then it gets like, it's practical at the same time. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's super fun. So, well, thank you so much. And again, like we'll put all the stuff in the comments so that people can find you and connect with you on Instagram, all the places, PhotoBoss. I just appreciate your time and energy so much. I always say like, that's the greatest gift that someone can give me is just their time and energy. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Seriously, it's always so fun just to chat and like get to hear your thoughts on things as well. It's so fun.
I know. And we might as well record it, right? Because we're having such awesome conversations.
Yes, I totally agree. Anytime.
All right. Thanks, girl. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. See, don't you just love her? It's like her positive energy and encouragement is just contagious. Joy, I am so glad that you know, were able to do this. I'm super grateful. I loved like re-listening to it, laughing. Oh my gosh. I just learn something every time and so good. Will you guys please go check her out at Joy Michelle on Instagram? If you listen to this episode, you know, let her know how helpful it was. Join the conversation inside the community builder. That replay is always there if you want to watch it in video form. But Her Photo Boss community is so great. So I hope that you guys have some golden nuggets from this episode, and I cannot wait to talk to you soon. We are getting dangerously close to episode 100.